The one on the left is reverting the forward slant of the neck in its native form, and the one on the right is reverting the trapezius muscles and width of the neck. As you can see, the newborn has very tall trapezius muscles that extend straight from the deltoids to the base of the skull. That's exactly what we're seeing on the right. This photo shows up in memes, but it was originally posted on a bodybuilding website, and I believe that this is the original. It is real. You can see the same kind of tall trapezius on this thin male imitation, which extends straight from the deltoid to the base of the skull. He's also reverting a clavicle muscle. The newborn's neck extends out almost horizontally, and that's because it's a predator that attacks with its mouth. It needs those powerful muscles in its shoulders and back to support the weight of the head and neck far out in front of the torso. The one on the left is reverting her neck and trapezius muscles. In addition to the neck being elongated, the throat has also bulged out in the center, which matches what we see on the newborn. The one on the right is also showing neck elongation, and there's a deep curvature as well, but that doesn't show on the newborn here. Of course, he's sticking his tongue out to show that he's a drac. I showed the matching clavicle on this one earlier. Now you can see that the trapezius matches as well. She's also reverting the length of her neck, but not the forward slant. Here are a few more examples of neck elongation. Jamie Lee is reverting her throat, and that looks the same as the newborn's. She's also creased the skin on the side of her neck. Lance Henriksen has reverted a bump on his throat, and the newborn has the same bump there. He's also reverting the tendons and cords. She's reverting the tendons and cords in her neck. It looks like she has 6 of them, which matches the newborn. I know that the big one on the side is a tendon or muscle, but I'm not sure if the ones in front are tendons or folds in the skin. They may need skin folds there to accommodate the throat as it expands, which you saw in the previous frames. It's the same on this one. This female imitation is reverting 2 bumps on her clavicle above the deltoid. You can see the same bumps in the newborn, same shape and position. These may turn into spikes when fully reverted, but I don't know that for certain. Gaga has put out a spike in that area, but I don't know if it's a reversion to the native form or just the shape she's generating. The one running straight up the side is definitely a tendon or muscle, and you'll see that coming up. The curved one that runs across the throat is either a tendon or vein. Generally, tendons don't curve, but we've seen some very unusual things about their anatomy, so I suppose anything is possible. You can see the same curved bit on the newborn here, which branches off the main tendon. It has the same shape and orientation as the female imitations. The only difference is the position, and that's because her neck is much smaller in its human imitation form. These three are reverting the primary tendon or muscle which runs from the outer end of the clavicle to the jaw. There's also a secondary smaller tendon that branches off above it and connects to a higher position on the jaw. Looking at the two on the right, you can see that the reptilian tendon crosses over the quote-unquote human sternocleidomastoid muscle, but that's not a real muscle. It's just a shape generated on the surface to imitate a human muscle. Also notice on the one in the middle that her earring has been absorbed into her neck. When they morph their cells, they take on a fluid-like state which allows them to pass through porous materials or absorb objects they're in contact with. That's what you're seeing here. You can see the same V-shaped formation on the newborn, the large primary tendon or muscle, with the smaller tendon branching off above. There's no question that's part of a muscle, either a tendon or belly. It's certainly much too large to be a vein. Michael Clark Duncan is reverting the same tendon in his neck, and as we've seen before, he has that depressed area between the tendon and trapezius muscle. That looks very similar to the newborn's here. He also has a bump at the corner of his jaw, and the newborn has the same kind of bump there, just bigger. This one has several pronounced bumps on his jaw, the biggest one at the corner. These are either muscles or scale segments, but what's absolutely certain is that they're not part of human anatomy. Sandal has reverted a bump at the back of her jaw. The newborn has a similar formation at the back of its jaw, just bigger. The newborn has a number of small, well-defined ridges in the skin on the side of its neck. The right frame is Minasuvari and Domino, and you can see the same ridges just beginning to come out of her neck. They're much smaller than the newborn's, but that's what they would turn into if she reverted them all the way. He's reverted a few pronounced ridges in front of the primary tendon. He also has a number of ridges or folds on the back of his neck, as well as the lateral creases across the side. It's clear that if he continued to revert his neck, it would turn into what we see in the newborn. The newborn has several thick folds on the back of its neck, and the male imitation is reverting the same folds. This one is reverting her neck, which has the same baggy, crumpled appearance as the newborn's neck. There's a distinct strip that runs diagonally from the corner of the jaw to the midpoint of the front cord. That's a clear match of a specific feature. She's also reverting her chin, which has become square and protruding like the newborn's. Sigourney is reverting her jaw, and it's taken the same shape as the newborn's, which is curved on the bottom of the side, concave in the middle. She's also reverting the cords or tendons in the front of her neck. You can see the same jaw shape on this one, sharp at the corner, curved along the bottom edge, tall and wide across the chin. She's also reverting her left biceps muscles and the bones in her chest. Sigourney is reverting her chin, and it has the same kind of slanted shape as the newborn's. Not as pronounced, but it's the same feature. Madonna is reverting her jaw and cheekbones, and again she has that slanted chin like the newborn. Her jaw has also elongated front to back, and the cheekbones have expanded down and out to the sides. That matches the newborn as well.